Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Xumo Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Xumo Christmas movies.
I'm Alonzo, and today we're gonna zoom, and this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello, everybody.
Oh,
another week is here, and some people might see that as a bummer. Like, oh, the weekend's over? No, sirs and no's.
Not when you got this kind of Monday to start.
When a few fellas are talking about the Xumo movie from 2022.
That's right.
Are you kidding me?
Banish
Bring
those
on.
Monday blues.
Bring on the work week. I got Xumo reviews to listen to. Hi, everybody. It is your Monday, maybe even Xumo, where we check out Christmas movies from all sorts of different networks and streamers and all of that wonderful stuff. But of course, the best streamer around is Philo, where you can watch this show, all the Hallmarks, all the Lifetimes, all the Ups, and all the so much mores. Which, by the way,
some even call it the holiday movie hub.
Some might say that, but it's also the all year hub.
All year hub.
And I'm going to tease this right here, right now.
Oh boy,
Dan and I might be diving into some other things that you can find on Philo, such as like a monster treehouse or something. So you never know what's going to happen.
like a sci-fi series on black holes.
You never know.
And if you wanted to hear more about that, the only place that you would find it would be Philo. That's exactly right. Ooh,
talk
look at
about
that
a
tease.
Talk about
a Xumo movie and that tease.
Oh
man,
are we in heaven?
Could Monday get here sooner?
Are we in heaven?
Are there actual monsters in the treehouse? Because I would totally watch that.
No comment. No comment. The tease has already been made. We
Okay,
can't go any further.
go any
leave it
further.
on the table there. That's fine.
Oh my goodness, Alonzo, how are you, buddy? Big news over in your world.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, I just got a new gig, a website called thefilmverdict.com. They have been around for a couple of years. They've come, the people who founded it have experience with the major trades, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, etc. And they really found that the trades have kind of been missing out on something that they used to do a lot, which was to do a lot of reviews out of film festivals. Lately, Variety and Hollywood Reporter particularly, have been kind of branching out more sort of lifestyle-y, but those are magazines that really used to just be for people that were in the industry. Like there's a reason why it's a joke that the Mary Wicks's housekeeper character in White Christmas starts reading Variety, because that wouldn't be done if you only read Variety, if you were literally directly in the show business. And so they felt like that reviews out of festivals really serve a purpose. A lot of these smaller films coming from various parts of the world rely on those first festival reviews to get sales agents, to get distribution. And so they started this website that is entirely focused on reviews. And for several years, they pretty much were just doing the international festivals, but they decided they wanted to kind of keep a hand in with what's coming out of Hollywood. So they have hired me as their chief U.S. film critic. And starting in the next couple of weeks, I will be reviewing whatever the big U.S. release of that week is.
Ooh,
okay, look at you, man.
That's exciting.
God, you have to wear like a robe and gavel.
Yeah, I've got a full barrister wig, the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I will still be coming here every Monday to talk about ridiculous movies like this with you, chucklehead. So
that's because your salary here is what brings home the bacon. Am I right?
I pretty much. I know where my bread is margarine, if not buttered.
What's the website again?
Thefilmverdict.com.
Film Verdict.
You will be asked to sign up, but it's not a paywall. They just want to be able to send you emails and stuff. So please do and check my stuff out. Thank you.
Fantastic. That's very exciting. They maybe we'll get on board there.
Ooh, yeah. No. You've been trying to scratch into the film criticism industry.
I'm a huge film critic.
When the Film Verdict starts covering the Hallmark Christmas movies,
I am their guy.
Alonzo still won't call you.
Is it because I liked Noel Next Door? Is it because I like Noel Next Door?
No, it's because you like the last 2 movies we covered that were god awful. What did we do last week that we were like, this is terrible? You're like, I loved it. What was that movie?
The people in the house and the thing and the,
Oh, yeah, the house.
the homemade ornament. Christmas in the Pines. Yes.
Yeah, how dare you? Unicorn Christmas, you also gave a pass to. The film verdict is in on you, sir. You're guilty on all charges.
Speaking of verdicts, if you sign up for Bramble Jam Plus, you can listen to Yo Gavel Gavel.
Yeah, you can.
Which is where Dan and I watch courtroom shows and tell you all about them.
He
and
also
then
like
try
the
to figure
blessing
out
bracelet, and I'm still burning him at the stake for that. So we'll figure that out later.
I'm behind on episodes. Stop spoiling.
Sorry. Sometimes a movie just sneaks up on you. That's all I'll say, and there's no explanations.
And Brand's been praying harder since and been getting more blessings because of it.
That's exactly
so that's
right.
really good for him.
And
wearing more jewelry.
No, I actually lost a bracelet in the process somehow. I don't know how it happened. My favorite Christmas tree originally dropped on Xumo.
Yeah, it did.
On October 30th.
Xumo.
Xumo. October 30th, 2022. So Halloween's coming up. Everyone's trying on their costumes, making sure they're all ready to go. I'm going to get my costume and I'm going to put on my favorite family Christmas, whatever it's called. And it went a little something like this. Kyla is a family tree specialist. What's the official
She's a genealogist.
You get 3 wishes. And
they all have to do with your family.
Yes. And she like makes family trees. Does she paint them? Like what? That first one is
she's basically an ancestry.com.
Yeah, but like
life.
Real hands-on. She's really good at her job, but the one family tree she can't figure out is her own. Her mom's backstory is a bit of a mystery. Her sister and her mom want to go to Mexico for Christmas, but she'd rather be in a winter wonderland like here at home. So when the opportunity arises to go research a Christmas tree farmer, she cancels the trip to Mexico, and her sister go to the town. What's it called? Conifer. But when they get to the Christmas tree farm, the guy running it, Cody, is like, I don't have time for this. It's Christmas time. This is my busy season. Cody's dad is like, if you want to look into a mystery, look into the mystery of the Silver Scott Pine. It is a tree that our family created, but lost it in a flood, and we've never been able to replicate it.
Rain on my trees.
Kyla's sister sees a hunk at a I need you to stop. You know I never say stop to Jars of Clay, but right now I need you to stop.
I always say stop.
If I lose my tree, Kyla's sister sees a hunk at a bakery and is very taken by him. Kyla goes to talk to a woman named Beverly at the records place, and she acts weird. And is like, let me look. Oh, no, there's nothing here. Come back during records hours. And then she goes and she takes one of the records from the top drawer, brings it down to the drawer below the top drawer, and puts it under some files.
Behind some.
But also under.
Under a drawer, but behind those files. Just flat in the back.
Flat in the back.
That's right. The files are hanging, and she's putting a thing under.
And behind. Under and behind. So that's weird. Cody agrees to hang out with Kyla for a day and answer questions, and they hang out for a little bit. But at the end of the night, he opens up about how the business is in danger, and his mom invites her and her sister over for dinner. Wow. Kyla finds out that there's a chance that she might be related to a hot shot in the town from back in
Princess
the day.
Conifer.
Constance, which
Princess Conifer Gentilly.
That's exactly right. She used to live there, used to own the land or something. She decides to commit to digging up all the information she could possibly find, and she discovers that she looks like her.
Whoa!
So what more do you need? Apparently, you need more if you're a family tree
Genealogist.
genie. If you're a Christmas tree genie. So Cody gets really into this investigation, which means he also really gets into Kyla. They hang out and they talk about Christmas memories, and they lay in the snow and make snow angels. All things you do when you are genealogying. So Constance apparently owned the land, and so Kyla goes to try to find out about the sale, and apparently there was no sale. No official sale ever actually happened. So the government can now come in and take the farm. So she tells Cody this. Cody does not take it well. She goes to talk to Beverly, and Beverly is like, let me see if I have something here underneath these files. Yes, I do.
Maybe even hidden files.
And she opens it up, and she's like, this isn't really helpful. This is like a recipe for a tree. Does that interest anybody? And she's like, yes. So she brings all the information about the Silver Scott Pine to Cody, and she's like, hey, I know the government might come in and take this land, but if you can whip up some of these bad boys real fast, you might be able to sell them and then get the money to buy the land.
You're looking at me for confirmation.
Thank you. So that's good. Beverly brings more news to Kyla, her sister, and her mom, who is now in town. And they are for sure related to Constance, which means that they're also related to the inn owner, which means that Constance does have descendants, which means the farm is saved.
Hey!
That's as clear as crystal.
We saved the farm. We saved the farm. Constance has descendants, so we saved the farm.
Cody and Kyla make up, and he says, you know, if I'm going to be whipping up these trees, I'm going to need some help. Maybe you want to stay here. And she's basically just kind of like, I think we can make something work. And then they kiss, and the trees are there. And that, my friends, was my favorite Christmas tree. Yes.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Clear as crystal. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back.
That movie.
I did. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll break this movie down with 4 segments here on
Deck the
Deck the Hallmark. I don't know, man.
Just take the extra beat for the fun of it.
Yes. It's called an artistic choice. You've never made one in your life.
You wouldn't know about an artistic choice.
Y'all, welcome back to Deck the Hallmark. We're talking about my favorite Christmas tree on Xumo. We all know Xumo. We knew it before today.
Yeah,
Turns out it was already installed in my Roku. So
well, there you go. Easy peasy.
That's right. It's like U2 in that album.
Exactly. Whether you want it or
Xumo
not.
comes pre-installed.
Let's break it down. Let's start with a hot take. I'll start with you, Alonzo. Alonzo, what did you think of my favorite Christmas tree?
So in the years that this program has existed, there's been kind of conversation about, do people make these movies knowing that one day you guys will be paying this much attention to them and trying to explain them? And I think that summary that you just heard pretty much lets you know that this movie just decided at some point that it was all going to make sense if they just kept moving fast enough. I appreciate the fact that they're trying to give us a Christmas mystery. There should be more of them.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way to do that. But man, this movie, like, I wanted Katie Porter and a whiteboard to come out and explain what the connections were, because they throw around a lot of names of dead people and just assume that you're following and you know who owns what and who's got the lease to the thing and who was a bootlegger. And yeah, I found all that really baffling.
For a movie who's supposed to like be experts, there's people supposed to be experts in family trees.
Yeah,
they just absolutely make a mess of this thing.
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
Seriously, just like one graph would have really, I think, helped immeasurably. And then beyond that, like, both of these leads, I think, are charming on their own, but together they generate zero heat. This is like some of the least chemistry I've seen outside of an actual married couple making one of these movies. And so, yeah, I did not really get involved in the relationship much at all. So yeah, I admired what this movie was going for. I had a couple of feels, but overall, yeah.
Yeah, this is a fine for me. I thought I had some. I felt like they had some chemistry, like when they're sitting on the couch and they're kind of like looking at each other with weird. I was worried about their necks, but I thought that was good. And they're laying in the snow and they're having some moments. But they are fewer and far between. I'm starting to realize why I'm not going to get hired for the film verdict. But yeah, overall, I thought it was fine. It is overly complicated for no reason, and maybe it's not, and I'm just never going to be a genie. But for me, it was just slightly too confusing for my liking in a movie where the stakes aren't really that high. He was never going to lose the farm. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The guy, like, they make such a point of saying this Christmas Tree Farm is the backbone of the city. Can you imagine the uproar? The town would riot if the government took this land. Was never going to happen. If there's one thing that we learned from Christmas in the Pines, possession is 9/10 of the law.
That's right.
So I think that there
other
is
10th can kick rocks.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I don't know. It was just a fine for me overall. Dan?
Yeah. So when my kids were a little bit younger, they would one of my kids in particular, when he was in the bathtub, would take all the towels he could find and just put them in the bathtub. And I would ask him why, and his answer made sense to him. And that is the best I can figure for what they think is happening in this plot. that it makes sense to them. Does it make sense to anyone else? No. Bran watched the movie separate from me. I came in this morning from teaching and he goes, so why did they get the land? And I said, they're descendants of the woman in the picture. And he says, well, what is it? Look, don't put too much thought into it. The towels, Dad, are all in the tub and they're all soaking wet, and that's all that matters. That's all you need to know is we did it. It's done, and there you have it. That's it. We don't have any more information. The movie's really, really bad.
I thought the towels would like
it.
The
towels needed to be soaked, sopping wet. They are useless if dry. Useless. What are you gonna do? Dry yourself off? You gotta sponge those bad boys, all of them. I need just the thread count through the roof.
Work with me on this.
That's right. Yeah. So I put one towel in and I was like, needs a buddy. It has two things going for it. One, real snow. Has real snow. We'll talk about that in the fields. And then two, Giles Panton never gets to be the lead. And I thought as a lead, he was admirable. I did not think that they had chemistry, but I thought Giles Panton, from a guy that's been in 100 Hallmark movies and he's seen how the leads operate, he got the bit and understood his role, and he did it fine. So those two things I will give a thumbs up to. The rest of this is a bunch of soaking towels in the bathtub.
I'd be quite fine seeing him in more.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
They did a good job. Let's get to the feels. Alonzo?
Yeah, Giles Panton, I was not surprised to learn that he does a lot of like animation voices, because there are moments where he'll just say something and it's like, is there a narrator now? Like that. He's got he's got very majestic voice. Actually, weirdly, my two moments of feels were ones that Brand just brought up. Okay, I'm sorry. That moment where we see their heads fall backwards onto the couch and it's shot upside down, can we call that a s'moresgasm? because really,
sure can.
That's what's happening. They just ate a bunch of s'mores and then they're like, it's like, what is happening in this movie all of a sudden? So
Xumo specializes in the s'moresgasm.
Clearly, yeah. Like, the graham cracker was originally invented to stop people from pleasuring themselves. Google it. But clearly, they have found a way around that one.
We are learning things we didn't need to learn.
That's the filmverdict.com.
That's right.
Thank you.
Filmverdict.com.
And then I also
he's going to be seeing an independent film about that.
Yeah. I liked the snow angel scene until they started making snow angels. Like, I love the fact they fell backwards in the snow. They were looking at each other, having this conversation. I thought, oh, this would be so nice if for once we did. Oh no, here we go.
Yeah.
And so, the snow angels, I guess you can't not do it. So fine. But even until then, I was definitely down for it. And when it finally happened, it didn't ruin the scene for me, but a little disappointed. But yes, real snow. Definitely big ups for that.
Big ups
Big
for
ups
the
for
big
the real
snow. My feels is something that just resonated with my soul. The Cody's dad, he's asked like how he likes being in the business, blah blah blah, and he's like says something like, "I can't think of a better job than working in the business of Christmas. I don't think I've ever worked a day in my life." And daggum right. As somebody who gets to watch Christmas movies at a minimum one day a week, daggum right. Preach. Never work a day in your life if you're watching Christmas movies for a living. That's what I'm trying to say.
Unless you're Daniel.
Dan? You love it. You love it.
Hard disagree.
You love it.
The hardest 84 minutes of my week is watching a Christmas movie.
Oh
so that does make it a good job. But good Lord, man.
You're saying you've worked a day in your life.
This I have. Yeah. If you add up all those 84 minutes, the shot from above of them laying in the snow is one of my favorite shots in any of these movies I've ever seen.
Mm.
It is a great looking shot, and they do ruin it because the movie's bad, but it's wide. So you know they've not faked the snow.
Yep.
There's a ton of snow on the ground. You can see their breaths. You can see that they're cold, and it's real snow. And that gave me legitimate winter Christmas feels. And so it needed to be mentioned here. I do work occasionally, though.
We get to hang out with me, bud.
That's true. Hanging out with your best bud. Can't beat that.
Come on. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we will get to the Wait What's and the Xumo wrestling. Check the hallmark.
We need Xumo information.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're
Xumo
talking
you
about...
didn't? No, we already
Oh,
did that.
Xumo you didn't. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Let's get to the Wait What's. Alonzo, anything sticking out to you?
Oh, a couple. The opening sequence, not the opening sequence, but the early on sequence where Kyla and her sister and mom are decorating the tree, and they're talking about the hand-me-downs that came from the grandmother. Every single ornament on that tree is about 5 minutes old. Like they all came from like Ross Dress for Less or something, but like there's not an heirloom among them. I'm sorry, movie, don't even with that. I love that the genealogist shows up at the tree farm, and yes, there's the sort of funny misunderstanding because of the bad connection that she's not a horticulturalist, but that immediately the dad gets her on the case of the missing,
Scott's pine.
Scott's pine. It's like, what? Like, does he just say this to everybody who shows up? Hey, can you help me figure out the Scott's pine mystery?
You just throw it out as often as possible, and one day you'll meet a Kyla.
I guess
I
so.
believe the quote is, Alonzo, you don't have to be a horticulturist. You just have to have a nose for the details.
Okay, great.
So, you're a reporter. Great. Listen, we need somebody that knows plants to figure out what happened to this tree. Or, hear me out, that doesn't matter. As long as you have a nose for the details, you can hop right onto this case here.
Yeah, research is research, like potato, who cares?
That's like, you don't need to be a film critic. You just need to love movies.
Yeah, can you take notes in the dark? You're in. Okay, there are a lot of Comic Sans signs in this town. Did you guys notice this? And like not even Comic Sans, but like child with a router. Like that there's the tree farm has a weird sign, the B&B has a sign in the same like loopy dumb font. I'm like somehow when you say established 1808, it takes away the credibility of that when you have written that phrase in a font that looks like a child did it with their first circular saw. He tells her that the next day is the busiest day on the farm, or the day she's coming, the busiest day on the farm, cannot deal with it. And there's not a soul there. And then even later when people do show up at the farm, it's like 5 people.
It's a big farm, Alonzo. It's a big farm.
Clearly there are like many other tree vending areas, and those are packed, but we're not going to put the camera there. We're going to be over here where
you can tell by the 5 people that went on the tour.
You never do see a person buy a tree at the farm.
Never,
which I did
once.
think was an interesting choice.
Yeah. So that just seemed like, is this a shared delusion or is the movie just not whatever? She gets horned into judging a tree decorating contest that her sister is participating in.
That's right. Yeah.
And her buddy at
Conflict
the
of interest.
library / office records thing. I'm like, that there seems like a lot of, I guess in a small town, there's no getting around conflicts of interest. But frankly, I think the hard-hitting Christmas joy attacked this issue much more clearly, that you have to get a ringer in who doesn't know everybody in town already. I love that there's a government office opened on Christmas Eve, because that's a thing for
As
sure.
they should. Oh, yeah.
When she tells him, oopsie, I think the government owns your farm now, he goes from 0 to furious in like
Yes,
no
does.
time at all. It's like, and when they get together at the end, I'm like, I would maybe red flag these anger issues, because that's a lot for something that you innocently bumbled into,
Well, when she told him what she had done before, what the outcome ended up being, he was like, "Well, yeah, that's a really
good
smart
thing to do.
That's a really smart thing.
Good for
Yeah.
you."
But yeah, apparently you don't ask too much about land records in Michigan. Right. This is the lesson of the film, apparently.
Yeah, it sure is. Everything was a handshake. There's nothing we can do. Michigan is a mitten, and everything's a handshake. maybe you've seen it.
And then finally, I thought by the end of the movie we might learn why the mother was so very disinterested in digging up her own family tree, but no.
Nah, not important. Just gets us from A to B.
I do like that the mustard thing was just a running gag and they didn't feel the need to dig into it more deeply. But
no, they did
beyond
not.
that, there's a lot of like, wait, how did we get here and why is no one interested?
Yeah.
Or anyway,
yeah,
that's all I got.
I have a few. Her boss comes to her at the beginning of this movie and is like, we really gotta, do something. We gotta, right after the Christmas holiday, we've got to get out there and figure out this tree thing or something. I don't know. And she's like, well, what if I did it before Christmas? What if I canceled my Mexico trip? And he could not be happier to hear that his employee is going to cancel their Christmas holiday out of the country so she can go spend Christmas at a little Christmas tree farm. What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
She's a tryhard,
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with Beverly? And I know you could just stop it there.
Yes.
In specific for me, has she known that she's had the Scotch pine papers
the whole time?
And what did she think? Because I want to remind you what earlier she sees this folder and says, "Ooh." Yeah.
She acts like a murderer,
and she she hides it.
Yeah,
as if she knows that she has something special.
I don't know that she's ever opened that file folder. I think she just wanted to keep it out of the hands of dun 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 a potential developer.
I think, yeah. Are you look? You have to be upfront about that.
Yes.
If you are,
you are required by law.
If I ask you,
that's right. You can't lie about something like that, even if you're a police officer.
No.
If you can't, I will say this. Here's what the movie wanted you to think. They wanted you to think that she knew that the government actually owned the land, and she was keeping it a secret on behalf of the family, and she thought this person was going to uncover that. But the reason that doesn't make any sense is that. Why would you show it to her at all later on? Later on, why would you then go, yeah, here's the information. Turns out the government does it. And she looks surprised when she finds that information out. Yeah. There is no reason for her to be acting as shady as she's acting early in this movie. She is acting like there's a body underneath that file cabinet.
I thought she was the other half of the mustard feud somehow.
Yeah.
She was going to stick it to this other gal,
Yeah, just Beverly, calm it down a little bit because you're acting like there's some serious crimes being committed.
It is weird to hide a folder full of information that you don't know what it is.
But also to hide it one drawer down where if someone comes in there and breaks in, They're gonna find it.
Yeah, what is moving it down
You
down
didn't
one
take
go
it and
if
put
you're
it in
gonna
a safe anywhere.
if you're gonna put it under the folders anyway, why not just keep it in the same drawer? What is moving it down one
It's
drawer?
like that thing where, like, if you reshelve a book in the library in the wrong place, it's lost forever. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
that concept, I think.
I did get a chuckle out of the fact that she's so busy at the records office she doesn't remember that she did that. She's looking at the top drawer and she's like, "Where did I put it 2 days ago?"
no.
I hide so many files around here. Where did I hide this one?
My day got out of hand in a hurry.
It's been days. I that brings me to my next one, which is it is relatively reckless to bring out the papers with the Scotch pine recipe on it while it's snowing liquid.
Yeah.
Like snow
Yeah.
melts
Yeah.
on the
We
paper.
got one sheet of paper.
That's gone forever. This guy's just like, we finally found it.
Oh,
As
no.
it's just dumping snow. Last but not least, what's up with Santa's mic stand? This isn't for anybody who's listening and didn't watch the movie, but did you guys notice this mic stand
No.
that is like angled?
Oh no, it was at his belly button.
Is at his belly button.
Yeah.
It's at an angle. The legs aren't flat.
No.
They're like this, and then the stand's like this. I don't understand how it happens.
There's
Like
no world where that microphone is picking up his voice. There's no world where it happens.
I don't understand how that stand is even standing physically. I don't think the math or the science plays out. Dan?
I'm pretty sure all the other nominees in this category can go home because I think we found the sibling of the year. And
yeah.
it is the sister who not only doesn't go to Mexico and instead goes to BFE, Michigan, but does so with a smile on her face, joy in her heart, and on the prowl looking for the single dudes.
She does fall in love. I didn't mention that.
She is making lemonade from lemons like no one I've ever seen before. If I had gone to a foot of snow, Michigan, and nothing wrong with Michigan, beautiful place, instead of Mexico, I would have been miserable the whole time. And she's there most scenes for no reason at all, just to have a smile on her face and tell you she's the sister. That's why. And she doesn't complain at all. It's unbelievable. Very, very impressed. She cracks this case open because she's taking a picture of Giles Panton. She's like, "Oh, let's do some shots." Like, no, don't put your arms crossed. Like, be fun. It turns into a photo shoot. I don't know what happens, but it turns into a photo shoot. And she stops and freezes like it's a CSI ep, and the guy just puts the case together. And the thing that cracks the case for her is a brick building. Like just the outside, just the brick on the outside. Like it is so rare that brick looks the same as a black and white photograph. I don't know. Alonzo, you did mention this. They are going ham on s'mores. They are going so hard. They show them. They keep showing them lighting more s'mores up in the oven. They show it 6 times at 4 s'mores marshmallows a pop. They have made no less than 2 dozen s'mores. 2 dozen. That's it. That's a lot of s'mores
For 2 people.
For 2 people. Look, you eat as much as you want. No judgment here. We just went hard at some Korean barbecue hot pot today. Brian, Harold, and I, we must have ordered 12 plates of pork bulgogi. I'm not here to judge anybody, but the 2 of you have eaten a meal and you went for 24 s'mores.
That's a lot.
Come on,
That's
man.
impressive.
That is so impressive. And not only that,
Is it full? Like, are they like, you're not like, sometimes I'll do like a s'more and then I'll pop some chocolate. Like,
no,
they
are doing it.
so that's a 24 fully constructed s'mores.
That's enough graham crackers to keep them from being pleasured for years.
S'more wise. S'mores
wise, guys. Come on.
They're not open faced. We're
Get your-
talking 2
yeah.
crackers.
Get your mind out of the Xumo. Anyway, listen, the thing about this is also, and I'm not as big a s'mores fan as
I
probably
love a
anyone
s'more.
else here, but are sprinkles a part of the s'mores equation?
I have never done it. Is it now on my to-do list? Yes. Yes. Have you done it, Aaron?
Sprinkles on s'mores.
No, chef.
And it'd be one thing if you just see them putting little sprinkles on the s'mores. They bring out a cart of sprinkles so that you have 4 or 5 different sprinkle options for your s'mores.
Well, when you're
And-
making 24 of them, you want some choice.
That's right. Got a little variety. Got to have a little variety.
That's
in
true. You got to spice it up.
I
What
know
about
that,
white chocolate?
that we're uncovering documents that are a century old. This is the shortest last will and testament of all time. It is maybe half a page, handwritten in quill pen in the 1900s.
That's a
there's
deathbed
nothing-
last will.
Yeah, there's nothing legally binding about this at all. Like nothing that anyone would be like, this is the real deal.
Mm.
It is just, it only has the pertinent information on it and nothing else at all.
Santa
and
didn't
then-
notarize it. Nothing.
Yeah. And I believe Beverly gets to deliver the humdinger of a line, which is land ownership here is tricky.
Yeah.
Are you guys in a different world than the rest of us? Are you playing by your own rules here where you get to decide these weird hoops for land ownership that aren't the same for everyone else? Well, normally, yes, property taxes, a deed, a notary, lawyers, all needed. But here in this town, it's just tricky. It's tricky. You couldn't possibly understand the ins and outs of land ownership here in Conifer. So that was a lot.
Yeah. It's time for Xumo You Didn't. It's where we talk about your questions that we still have. Alonzo.
Well, my first question is, Brand, do you know what a conifer is?
No.
It is a cone-bearing tree. It's like a whole set
Fantastic.
of trees.
That's right.
Anyway,
Great.
just throwing that
Thanks.
out
Pine
Oh,
tree
I
would be
really
a
appreciate
conifer.
that. Sure.
there. These movies are educational. What can I tell you?
They absolutely are. You know, Brian's always looking for things to learn, and so
There you
maybe I
go.
should be too.
Yes. The big question here, which I think the movie really kind of paints itself in the corner of, is: are our two romantic leads related?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I had that written down. And
They might be.
it was a possibility, but the way I understood, and this is 4 or 5 towels deep into the bathtub at this point, but the way I understood it was that the land, they had purchased the land from that woman. They were not
Oh.
related to that woman.
Okay.
But once again, it's very murky, very murky.
I'm just saying, I think a blood test might be in order before they take things too far, because I don't know who anybody is by the end of this thing.
That's true. That's true.
They don't call it the mustard situation for no reason. I don't know what I mean by that, but you can figure it out. So at one point in this movie, he's talking about how basically their business, they take trees places sometimes, and a lot of other Christmas tree farms are starting to sell to big box realtors.
Yeah.
I mean, retail stores, not realtors.
Realtors.
Maybe they are.
Big
I don't
box
know.
realtors. They'll get you, man. They'll get you.
And he says, but that doesn't feel right for us. And I just kind of want to be like, why? Why does it not feel right to sell your trees to the big box stores if like you're literally out of options?
Yeah.
There's small batch, farm to table, you know.
Yeah, it's not like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I guess the idea of somebody buying them and then marking them up for someone else to buy them. If you're
But
out
he's
of
get- he's
options to
getting
save
them-
your farm, I'm not against it. But the idea that they've always been doing this for the people.
But
and the
he
blah,
says
blah, blah.
that they bring them to places that then they sell. But once it gets to big box, they don't want to get in bed with big box.
Yeah, it's like how we want you to buy your book, our book, I'll Be Home
Sure.
for Christmas Movies, which is available anywhere. We say buy it from your local bookstore
Right.
if possible.
It
but-
is available. Yeah.
But we have it available everywhere.
So that's all I'm saying. Why not both?
Yeah.
Just because you go to big box doesn't mean that you can't sell
That's
to
right.
the small town
Realtors.
realtors, if you will. I don't know. I just don't know if he's in a place to be
Yeah.
like, no, sir, not here. No way, no how.
No way, no how. See you.
Tree lots,
Yeah.
but not big lots.
Right. That's exactly
Okay.
right.
Yeah, nicely done. Are we to understand she's moving to Conifer?
I don't know.
Is she
man.
moving there? Because her genealogy
Listen, when your
business
cousin
is going
asks
straight
you-
in the ground.
When your cousin invites you to move to town, you take your cousin up on that
The
offer.
best I can figure is there are 2 families in Conifer, and she knows the genealogy of both of them. So I
Marry
don't
the
think
two
she's going to be
shall
able to
meet.
do anything with her degree if she moves to Conifer, and I'm a little concerned she's giving up her dream for their dream. That's all
Well,
I'm
but
saying.
I don't know how far away this because they live in the same state. It is Michigan.
Yeah, the Michigan
So I don't
Historical
know.
Society. They'll need better Wi-Fi on the farm if the phone
They
reception
will.
is that bad. But
Yeah,
They
that's right.
will.
The
They
phone
will.
reception's weird bad too. It's like a snow screen on TV back in the antenna days on your phone. It's like, yeah. It's one of those situations.
It's like you're talking about a white noise machine. And maybe it'll come through if
Well,
you
yeah,
listen real hard.
This movie came from a company called Real One Entertainment, and I know it's not a Big Johnson, but I think we could, if we see more of them, we'd be like, well, that was a real one, if you know what I mean.
That was a real
That's
one.
a real one.
That was a real one. We did, everybody. Congratulations. Next week, we're going over to Pluto.
Yeah, we
Pluto.
Ooh.
This movie did premiere on Pluto. It does seem like it is streaming in a lot of different places now, though. So pick your poison. A Merry Single Christmas.
A Merry Single Christmas.
A Merry Single Christmas.
Okay.
So there you go. That's what we're doing next week. And until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.